Right then, late opening for this customer. We already know it's going to be pretty green. Let's take off the winter debris cover first, that's about had it as well. Drag that off and spread it on the grass to dry. And of course we've got a dark green colour going on. I'll do a little bit of netting first, there's a few leaves on top. Then what I'm going to do is get a bucket of water and mix up some flock first. Basically what this does is act as a coagulant, combining all the small particles and sinking them down to the bottom of the pool. Then what I'll do is get another bucket of water and add some shock. This is going to kill off all the algae and the bacteria in the pool. Mix it up well in the bucket, pour it in front of the jet, then get the brush the whole pool, disturbing all the algae off the surface, and come back a few days later and this is what it will look like. Everything settled to the bottom apart from a few leaves on the top. Get the vacuum set out, prime up the pump and start hoovering. It's all coming up really well. That's due to all the brushing, so if you didn't brush you could hoover but you'd still get bits stuck to the tiles. You'll see a few patches still after I vac. That's just down to not being able to see when the pool's green and what you're brushing. But the majority of it's coming up. This is the last line. Then I noticed this little frog swimming about. And he did not want to come out of the pool, he's a slippery little bugger. Went down to the bottom, so I had to get the net, scoop him out, then send him on his way into the bushes. Little bit of netting at the end again, then brush off them patches, and that's the job done, all ready for the summer. Alright, here's a job that I don't normally do. It's an above ground pool with a pretty cool view as well. The only problem is the pool is not looking good, it's slightly green. So I'm going to check all the chemicals, and what I'm going to do is get some shock out, spread that around the pool, get my brush the whole pool, disturbing all the algae off the surfaces. Come back in a few days and we're looking nice and clear. All the dead algae is settled on the floor, so I'm going to prime the hose, turn the pump on and start hoovering it all up. There's all just like fine dust, there's a few leaves but it's coming up really well. I must admit though, it's quite hard hoovering the pool as it's above ground. The vac hose just kept sliding out of the pool. It didn't take me too long to hoover the pool, so they didn't lose too much water. But on these pools you can adjust the height of the skimmer, which is pretty cool. But anyway, that's job done. Alright, come to get this pool ready for the summer. It's a little bit green. What I'm going to do is check the chemicals first. Obviously no chlorine and the pH is already looking really high. So what I'm going to have to do is get some pH minus or dry acid, throw that in to lower the pH, and then I'm going to get some chlorine granules and some shock, throw that in the pool, brush the whole pool to disturb the algae. The pool was struggling to clear, so I had to come back and flock the pool, which is what I done and which is why it looks like it does now. You get the vac set up, prime the pump, prime the hose and start vacuuming. So what it looks like is snow on the floor basically, but you've got to be so careful when you vac in after you flock because it's so sensitive. Any sudden movements in the pool and it will just make it go really messy and cloudy again. But it's all coming up nicely. There's a lot of leaves in there, you can see by the basket. This is where all the debris goes that I hoover up. A full bucket load at the end. And that's the job done. Holly your boy for the pool. Alright, I've come to this job to get this pool open and ready for the summer. Take the cover off first. And it's gone a little bit green. What I'm going to do first is get the net out, net off all the leaves off the top. Then I'm going to sprinkle in some chlorine and some shock. That's going to kill off the algae. Rinse the bottle out, making the most of it. Then get my brush the whole pool, disturbing all the algae off the surfaces. And then give that a few days to filter. Come back nice and blue, all the debris on the floor, prime the hose, prime the pump and start hoovering. There's a lot of twigs in the pool as well, which is quite annoying because it keeps blocking the suction. A lot of people say, why don't you just empty the pool and refill it with fresh water? But to be honest, it's not always good for the structure of the pool, and just a few chemicals to get it going is a better and cheaper option for the customer. But anyway, that's job done. Alright, I've come to this job then, and this pool is not looking good. It's been left for around 8 years. I did get my GoPro out and previously done some underwater shots and they look pretty cool. So while the pool's emptying, I just got the jet wash out and started jetting down the steps. And as you can see, the algae is pretty thick. It's like a blanket all over the pool. I could finally get into the shallow end, so I started brushing it all into the corner and then scooping it up into a bucket, which was lovely. This was actually pretty hard work as well because the pool had a slope and it was hard trying to keep our balance. All the sludge and mess from the pool went into a skip. There was also a lot of broken tiles on the floor. This just shows you how thick it was. The walls were pretty stained, so I had to get some strong cleaner on them and then jet wash it all down. Hoover up all the last bits in the bottom. The customer was going to retile the tile band himself, get some water in. Tiles are in and the pool's running, ready for their party on Saturday. That's job done. Alright, I've come to disturb these two ducks' fun. Sorry about that, but I've got to get this pool ready for the summer. It's looking a little bit green. First off, to the plant room, getting all the bungs out, tightening all the unions back up, priming the pump, stick the lid back on, put the multi-port on filter, turn the pump on, and away it goes. Got some chlorine granules, some shock. Sprinkle that all the way around the pool, the usual. Brush the whole pool as well to disturb all the algae. And then come back in a couple of days and see what we're looking like. Nice and clear, all the debris on the floor. There's a lot of leaves, a few on the top as well, so I'm going to net them. Then prime up my pump and start hoovering. I did have to empty the basket on the pump a few times because there's a lot of leaves on the bottom. But I got it done anyway. That's the pool all set up, ready for summer. Alright, another pull I've come to get ready for the summer. You can already see it's not looking good. I'm going to take the winter debris cover off and see how it's looking underneath. We've got green froth floating on the top. The dog's not very impressed with the pool. Go to the plant room, put all the bungs back on the equipment, prime the pump, get that all running. Get the net out, net off all the bits floating on the top, all the leaves. Then get some shock, this is going to kill off all the algae. Brush the whole pool, disturbing all the algae off the surfaces. Come back a few days later and this is how we're looking. It's nice and clear, so I'm going to get the vaxer out, prime the pump and start hoovering. It's all coming up really well. Getting them last little bits and that's job done. Alright, we've got another hot tub that's been left for a while. Expect to see some spiders and slugs. It's been a couple of years I think since it's been running, so I think it's definitely going to need a drain down, clean out. The water's slightly off colour. What I'm going to do is drop the submersible pump in, drain the whole hot tub, get the filter out, hoover up all the bits at the bottom, fill it back up, then get some hot tub flush, pour that through the skimmer, and that's going to clean out all the pipes inside, all the dirt and grime and body fats that are clinging onto the pipes. You can see it there in the foam. Then what I'm going to do is empty the hot tub again, spray the whole hot tub with some shell cleaner and give that all a brush and a scrub. Rinse it all down. Right, last bits on the floor again. Get some water in the hot tub. Run the jets and put the heating on, make sure everything's running, and that's job done.